Hi Jen, thanks for agreeing to meet with me.
Stop right there, Miss Velie. You may call me Mayor Howell Marx. After all, I did somehow get elected as mayor of San Luis Obispo. And you should be thankful that I have agreed to let you interview me, given the pain CowCoastNews.com has caused me over the last several months.
This is quite some office you have here. Do you play the piano? Did taxpayer money fund all of this?
No, the city paid for most of this, but not all of it. Some of the decorating was paid for by close personal supporters of mine. The gorgeous zebra skin sofas were a gift from a local developer, from a friend. No, I don't play the piano, but it sure looks nice in my office. Is that the phone? I wonder if that is possibly Tom and Jim for lunch. It's okay, I let it go to voicemail.
Is it okay if we take a seat?
No, it is not. This interview won't last long. Now let's get going.
Shall we begin by briefly reviewing your election as mayor of San Luis Obispo?
Yes, I approve of that.
You did not vacate your seat on the SLO City Council prior to running for mayor. In doing so, you took the decision for your possible replacement away from voters and give it to 5 members of the City Council. Why did you do that?
Because that best served me personally. If I would not have been elected mayor, something which almost happened, I would still have had my council seat to fall back on. That was pretty smart of me. I also felt I could fill the seat with my campaign manager, who had been anointed by the Democratic Central Committee.
You were elected as mayor by the barest of majorities, as you mentioned. I believe you received 174 more votes than your opponent, an opponent that was dealing with some difficult personal issues and a new job that severely limited his ability to campaign. Has this influenced your ability to serve as mayor?
I am Mayor Jan Howell Marx. That's all that matters. I am the mayor. Hear me roar.
Once you narrowly edged out your opponent, you treated your slimmest of victories as a mandate of sorts. You tried to engineer the installation of your friend and campaign manager Ms. Patty Andreen into your formal council seat. The voters rose up in protest to that obvious conflict of interest and you abandoned Mrs. Andreen. Do you believe this has tarnished your reputation with the community?
If that damn Democratic Central Committee had done what it said it was going to do, I would have been able to deliver my seat to Patty.
You're not answering my questions. Has your narrow election victory and your thwarted attempt to place a party loyalist in your former council seat impacted your ability to lead the city of San Luis Obispo?
Did you not hear when I said that I am Mayor Jan Howell Marx? That's all that matters. It's all about Jan. I am the mayor.
This is not getting us anywhere. Let's switch topics. Let's discuss your involvement with the infamous Citizens for Planning Responsibly.
Must we?
For years you claimed only the most minimal of involvement with Citizens for Planning Responsibly, the group that formed to block progress on the Del Indio Ranch development.
Yeah, and? Keep in mind you are speaking with the mayor of Slowtown.
Yet you refer to yourself as the vice president of Citizens for Planning Responsibly in emails you wrote to other members, based on copies of these emails which were obtained by Mr. Dan Blackburn over at KCCN.TV last month.
I don't know what you are talking about. Shall we move on?
Please, Mrs. Marx, this is very important. You tell the news media one thing for years. Yet based on your private emails to others, it appears you did the exact opposite of what you claimed. I want to get to the truth.
I still don't know what you are talking about. Karen. I am Jan Howell Marx, you know. I am the mayor of San Luis Obispo.
I really would like an answer to this question. When were you telling the truth? When you said you had very little involvement with Citizens for Planning Responsibly, or when you referred to yourself as the group's vice president?
Would you care for an iced mocha caramel frappe? I could send my assistant down to Starbucks if you like.
No, I would not. All right, let me ask this. When you were the vice president of Citizens for Planning Responsibly, did you ever have communications with those who have since built all the stores in the Irish Hills development? Did the Citizens for Planning Responsibly group ever receive any donations from this developer? Many of those stores were slated for the Del Indio Ranch development, and it does raise questions.
I'm not going to answer that. I invoke my special privilege as mayor of San Luis Obispo.
Your what? Never mind. Here's an easy one. When you were Vice President of Citizens for Planning Responsibly, what was the name of the person who served as president?
Do you think I'm that naive? Okay, off the record, I have pulled enough stupid and illegal stunts to have me investigated and probably charged in most places. Is that my cell phone? I wonder if that's Booker? It's okay, I can call him back. At the very least, I should have already been booted from office. Just look at the abundant trail of evidence I have left behind. Yet here I serve as mayor of San Luis Obispo. As I said, it's all about me and things are good.
Your comments beg the question. Why are you able to get away with what you do?
Many reasons. Voter apathy. The Democratic Central Committee political machine. A lack of transparency in reporting of the news until fairly recently. That reminds me, are you looking for a job? I am thinking about creating the position of press secretary for the mayor and you might do well to apply for it.
That's not a bribe, is it, Mrs. Marx?
You tell me? Are we back on the record?
How about your bid to be on the Coastal Commission? What in the world made you believe that you were qualified to serve on that commission?
It's not about qualifications. It's all about me, Mayor Jan Howell Marx. Being on that commission would have fed my ego even further, so I threw my name into the ring. They were fools not to choose me.
Let's try another topic. The leadership recently displayed by Councilman Andrew Carter. Don't you think as mayor that you should be the one leading the charge to deal with the city's budget deficit?
Are you kidding? I got conned by the local chapter of the Sierra Club as their volunteer lawyer because I forgot to submit some important paperwork on time. This budget is way over my head. Thank goodness Carter and Carpenter are around to do the heavy lifting.
What? Are you serious?
I also relied on votes from members and supporters of the public safety unions to get elected. I can't roll up my sleeves and get my hands dirty now.
Do you have any concerns at all? At your ability to be taken seriously or believed by others? Do you ever worry about your reputation, or about your legacy?
My only real fear is Kevin Rice. He has caused me a great deal of anxiety by getting voters to look critically at my record. I do not appreciate that. As for my legacy, why should I care? Stephen and I will be returning to our beloved Canada soon enough.
I am all out of time, Mrs. Marx. Please let me know if you are ever willing to engage in an honest and open discussion of your actions here in San Luis Obispo.
I have no idea what you are talking about. Now how about that iced mocha caramel frappe? Whoa. It's almost 4:20 p.m. I must be going. Goodbye, Miss Velie.